Woody, have you gotten into Game of Thrones yet? House of Dragon?
Yes, I should be current.
What are you thinking about the season so far? What's your overall kind of feel for the way things are going?
I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I guess you could say I like it. I think that it's been a little predictable and a little
Mm.
slow moving. The last episode, if you're current on the one,
Dragon fight.
Okay, yeah, you're current. Um, I wasn't going to spoil that much, but yeah,
You
there's
can
a dragon
spoil it.
fight,
I'm not gonna-
so it is consequential. And prior to this, it almost seemed like everything was like, I don't give a fuck about this happening to that person or this dialogue or, oh, did you try to talk and, didn't really come to a conclusion on your talking? Like, what am I doing? Why am I watching this plot that doesn't advance until recently?
So, spoilers, because I want to talk about kind of the whole season and my feel for it
Okay.
thus far, because it's bad. It's not all right.
Spoilers,
Bad
please,
is
Zach.
strong. So bad is a strong word. This is clearly a show that's costing probably 10 million plus an episode to make. Those wigs usually look pretty fucking good. Everybody's got a wig on. Like everybody's got a wig on.
Yeah.
But man, they've done some weird shit. At one point they just break into the Red Keep, the main castle in King's Landing, Taylor, where like the royal family lives. Suddenly, all it takes to get in there and kill the prince in his infant bed is for a rat catcher to take you in a secret way. They just walk in one of the water outlets, like the sewer outlets, and they make the right turn or two and go up a ladder. And wouldn't you know it, there's a secret latch that opens up into like a different prince's fucking bedroom.
My lord, we've been telling you to address the secret latch for a long time now.
Nobody's on guard.
No one's on guard. That's true, but the rat catcher might have unfettered access to a castle.
I told you this show was going to punish you guys.
Some bum off the street who could walk right into the prince's bedroom. That's crazy to me.
The show is going to tease you guys even earlier in the series than Game of Thrones.
Dude, they killed the infant prince in his bed, like cut his head off.
Are you sure it's the prince? I'm not 100% sure.
100%.
Really, my mind's open to the idea that they're lying to us. That
they're lying.
Well, so what
there
happened
was a little bit of ambiguity, I suppose.
There's a prince and a
like
princess, Taylor, sitting next to each other in cribs or small beds, whatever. They're like 3.
Yeah.
They both have long hair and they're both wearing white sleeping gowns. And they're like, which one's the boy? Paraphrased. And the mom is like, that one. And they kill without checking. And I'm like, what is this fucking plot hole that you're here? And then afterwards, they're like, oh, they killed my boy. And I'm like, if they said, hey, spoiler, that was the girl that they killed, I wouldn't be shocked.
What kind of bullshit assassins are these that they don't just wipe out both kids?
They're there to kill. They're not even that. They weren't even supposed to kill that kid. That kid wasn't even the one. They were there for like an adult. All right, so it's that Martin Lawrence quote from Bad Boys. Do you remember Bad Boys 1 when Martin Lawrence's daughter's boyfriend comes over? Like, I'm here to take out. Shut up. I'm here. He goes, I'm here to take out Denise. And he goes, how fucking old are you? Dude looks old. He's like 15. 15, Ninja, you look 30.
And then he says that classic line. He goes, yeah, well, I'm a Bad Boys too. And then remember that?
No, there's a character like that in the show. Like I think that the prince with the eye patch is supposed to be like 16 or some shit. He looks 30 and he looks scary 30. Yeah, there's been a lot of weird writing like that and a lot of pitter-pattering around and a lot of shit I don't care about. And goddamn, it's not been a good show. The dragon fight was fine. I thought their CGI was fine. I wasn't like blown away by it, but I wasn't let down by it.
You don't want a show like Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones was not good because it had good CGI in the early seasons. It was good because the characters were compelling and it was well written. It was interesting. The dialogue was good. Like all the best scenes were like Littlefinger and fucking Varys and whoever, all the articulate characters like talking shit or commiserating over a plot. Like that's what made it good. And so if they're leaning too heavy on dragon fights, like they're not going to carry you in the long run.
We're like 6 or 7 episodes in, and there's been one fight in the last episode. it's
Are you gonna stick with it, or are you
of
like?
course, yeah,
Oh,
it's too big of a thing not to like
I'm
finish up
invested.
and see
But
what they're doing.
are you
It's
finding the
beautiful.
plot moving too slowly? I know you're more tolerant of slow plots than me.
I've been watching it week to week as well.
Mhm.
I guess that like big things happen every episode. Like the first episode, there's an assassination, and the second episode, there's an assassination. And then I can't remember what happened, every episode. But then there was the dragon fight in the most recent episode. So I feel like usually there's a big enough thing that goes down, but there
Mm.
are these slow, dreary scenes with side
Yeah.
characters I don't care about. And I'm usually really good about this. There was a point where I was almost encyclopedic about Game of Thrones and the lineages, and like, no, that's a different Robert. Like, but with this show, there's so many mixed race kids that I can't tell who's who. And it's like, oh shit, that's his daughter. What the fuck? And it's like, and like they skipped forward in time a little bit, and so people had like another generation, and it's like, oh my god, that's not his mother, that's his grandmother. Like,
Mhm.
holy shit! Like the king's grandmother is the pretty brown haired girl. It's like,
And-
she, the green lady.
Al said mixed race, but like in Game of Thrones, even the hair color like represents the family, right? So this is the strong family; they're all brunettes. This is the Targaryens; they're all blonde. And then you see some brunette kids come from the blondes, and that's practically mixed raced in this universe.
No, I'm talking about all the half
You're talking
black, half white children.
They're okay. To me, they all mix up, and I'm like, you're supposed to be able to tell the family lines by the hair color, but there's so much like
Everybody's blonde. Everybody's fucking bleach blonde,
No.
except for like 3 guys who are all brown haired, and we all
Yeah.
act like. Man, I love that we're
And
still
then we
pretending like
pretend
that
their
one kid
dad-
isn't a bastard.
Yeah.
Like, I know we never told you, but Jesus Christ, it's like The Jerk with Steve Martin. There's this old movie where Steve Martin is an orphan raised by a country
have seen
bumpkin
that.
black family, and they have to tell him when he's like Steve Martin's age that he's not black, and like, because like they're all like jamming out, playing music and singing. He can't keep a beat. Like he's like white cracker, honky white. He's
been
jazz
50 since he was
listening.
30.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna stop aging. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I hope he never does.
But he aged 50 years in 30 of them.
He just went
Yeah.
all white really early. He got
Mhm.
that out of the way.
So,
Some of us like to
overachiever.
front load our gray hair and just get it out of the way.
You know what happened to him? It all went white at once.
Did he
Really?
get scared?
No, it was like over time.
No, it was over time.
It's like normal, like normal human beings. He
No, it
didn't
was
see God
way
like Moses or
faster.
anything. That's one of my that does happen, and I'd love to hear like the scientific reason. I'm sure there is one for why that happens that way, and I don't quite understand what happens. Let's say you have this traumatic event, is what I'm talking about, or this wild thing that happens to you, and then your hair turns white. Does that mean that like your hair can't change color like the hair that's already out? Like, does it mean that
It would
like
mean from now on it's going to be white,
that
right?
it starts growing out white from then
Yeah,
on is like my interpretation. But the Bible kind of makes it sound like Moses was like bleached.
I mean, Moses was
Like,
old.
maybe it made it sound like those 2 Nigerians came out of nowhere with some bottles of bleach and like dumped them all over Moses. And
It could have happened. You can't disprove that.
this Jehovah country,
This is Jehovah country. It's like, please don't bleach my hair.
and they bleached him.
They bleached him and they stole his Subway sandwich.
They locked that guy up, and he was screaming while when they drug him away. It was very satisfying.
How
to
long
watch.
is he in?
I don't remember. It was.
Is he out now?
I don't know. I watched the sentencing and him making like a big like screaming thing, like, and then that's the last I heard of Juicy Smollett.
Juicy Smollett. Let's see. Are you in jail or prison? I guess. In 20. No. The fuck? How is this not like the main thing in his Wikipedia page?
But yeah, I'm disappointed with the show. I kind of went into it knowing I was going to be disappointed, because even if that show were like lights out, like if it was like the second coming of Game of Thrones, there's that taint that's in 50% of the episodes of the show. We hearken back to the Song of Ice and Fire verbatim. They'd say it literally. Remember this?
The prince that was promised.
Remember the prince that was promised and the secret of the Song of Ice and Fire that Aegon the Conqueror had. It's very, very important. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. No, it's fucking not. I know more than any of you. I promise you it's not. I was so obsessed with why it was. I had my own theories. Oh, and it wasn't.
That retard is never going to finish those books.
No,
who cares? Who cares if he finishes them? Like, what are
I would want to know what happens because I read all the other books.
I thought it was going to match what happened in the show.
No,
there's no way it would because
he said it would. He said.
I think he gave him the outcomes, and they showed how to get there. But that's just me. Like maybe I'm wrong about that. We don't fucking know. Here's what I know for sure.
It wouldn't make sense.
Though. He saw the fan reaction. He will not duplicate it. Like even if that was the plan, he'll be like, I never told them that. They're communist liars. And they rape children. Have you seen the Epstein files? He'll say that. And then he'll say, here's my cool ending. See, Daenerys draws the print. What I needed was John.
All the prophecies mean something.
Let me say what I made up last week when I was having this exact same rant for everyone in my house. I needed Bran to use his time-space manipulation to send Jon Snow back in time. And that whole prophecy about or the old legend about the guy who drew the sword from his wife's heart and then it had the power to like do the magic. That's about Jon in the past, and he goes back in time and does that thing, and he realizes he sees himself do it, and he has to like kill Daenerys. He has to kill Daenerys, pull the magic sword out of her, and then he kills the Night King, but not in that episode, not in the first episode of the battle. Like we need the Night King to have pushed all the way down to the Riverlands. Or to King's Landing itself, to somewhere like dramatic. The Riverlands would be cool, and like you could see maybe they freeze the river. There's that big river crossing, right? And that the Walder Frey controls. So we're all waiting there for the Night King, but he freezes the fucking river, and the whole river turns solid. So now they can approach more broadly. And we think, oh no, they didn't realize he could just freeze the river, but they did know. You see. Deus Ex Machina dragons coming from each side, like melting them in the water, and they're all dying it wasn't water, it was oil. Like I needed some cool shit to happen, and they couldn't fucking muster it. They did all they did was character assassination.
Do you think?
Yeah, give me some of that cool.
You know what I wanted? Bran has the ability to go back and forward in time. Seemingly, he is everything and everybody.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Bran the crippled kid, Bran the builder who built the Great Wall?
That would have been sick.
That would have been good. That would have made sense. That would have been fun.
Maybe. And here's the thing, Woody. But here you need to tie back into the future. So you have Bran go back to when he was Bran the Builder, and when he placed like the magic fucking weapon or the key or the symbol in the base of the wall and sealed it in. And Bran goes, dig. And they just start digging, and they pull out a fucking like magic glowing super samurai axe or some shit that's made out of a dragon's head. Who will wield the dragon's head? And Jon Snow steps forward and like wields the dragon head sword or whatever the fuck. I needed some cool shit to happen, and they couldn't muster it because they were so money hungry. They wanted out of their locked in episodic pay at HBO and to get that Star Wars teat money. And then Star Wars said, "Fuck you! Your fan base abandoned you," and they went. Then they made Third Body Problem, which I think is mediocre and probably getting another season.
Do you think it's possible that George R.R. Martin pulled like a Stephen King, and even he at this point really doesn't have a way to wrap it up?
Yes.
Like that's.
Do you think? I don't think
be it.
He's 75. I think he retired and didn't tell us.
He could be president. What are you talking about?
He is so much. He's fatter than Chris Christie.
What?
He carries it
unless he's lost a lot of weight.
He's got that pumpkin body style.
Yeah, a real fucking.
You just know that his ass is very pale.
He's like a November 20th pumpkin.
He's got that bleached, but he's got that bleached like never saw the sun part on the bottom.